Hello and welcome to Power Automate in a Day, Lab 9. In this exercise, you will learn how to use Word template to generate document with Power Automate and how to generate Word and PDF document in Power Automate. Let's go. The prerequisite for this exercise is you need to have a free developer environment. So refer to the previous lab for details, so to do that, because you need a premium license and you get it in a free developer environment. Okay? Because we are going to use the Word connector in this exercise, which is premium. Also, make sure that the invoice template start.docx and invoice.xml has been uploaded into your OneDrive for Business. So you can find this file from the resource file. So if we check the content of invoice, you will see that we have two tables. One table containing the invoice header, so invoice ID, company name, the street, city, zip, country, right? And for each invoice, we have corresponding invoice line. So in the other table, right? So in the table on the right, you will see for each invoice the invoice line. You see, so the first column is the invoice ID actually. Okay, so we have product, amount, price, and total. So what we want is to create reports of the invoice. So we want to be able to generate a document for each invoice, and we will rely on a Word template. And we want the invoice to look like this. So each invoice should look like this with the name of the person who sent the invoice, right? So it will be the same, Dr. Flo here. And bill to company name, street address, city. So company name, street address, city should dynamically be put in the invoice. And same for invoice ID here. And down below, the line items should be stored in this table. And down below the invoice, we should see the manager's signature as a picture, right? So let's customize this Word document so that we can put fields in the template. So we have to open that in Word client, Rich Client, and in Word you should have Developer tab. If you don't have the Developer tab, you have to go to Option, where you can activate custom ribbon. You can check developer developer tab. Okay, so when it's activated, some additional information, additional feature will show up. Like, we're gonna put a field next to company name, and we're gonna use this plain text control. Don't use the rich text control. Use the plain text control, right? That's the one we are going to use. Same for street address, plain text, and city. And for invoice ID. And for the table below, yeah. Also, we can name this control. Click design mode so that you will see exactly the extension of the control in the page. Okay, click design mode to see this, and each control can have a name. Click properties to define a name for the control, and we're going to manipulate the control through its name. So company here and street property street. City, okay, so for the invoice ID, let's name it invoice ID. And you will see that Power Automate can see this field, will be able to see this field. And for the line items down below, we are going to use a repeating section. Just select the two columns, so select the line below and make that a repeating section control for the whole line. Okay, so this is the repeating control, repeating section control. And in this repeating section control, we're going to put a field for description and a field for amount. So text field. So here, let's go to the same one. Okay, properties, and let's name it something like product. Let's put another field in the right column. Right, so let's put another text control here, and the inside control should be renamed amount, right? So it's the internal control, right? So we have product and amount next to each other. So just make sure properties is Okay, we have an internal field, that's fine. This one should be the internal properties amount. Okay, fine. Right, so the template is, we need to name the repeating section as line item as well. That's important. So now the template is ready. And the name of this template is invoice template start. So we will, we still need to put a field for the picture, the signature. So this should be a picture control, right? And let's name it manager signature. Okay, like this. Right, everything looks fine. So let's save this, save as copy, and let's remove the start in the name. All right. Let's close this. Right, so now let's move to, the template is there. Okay, we have invoice template, fine. So let's go to Power Automate and make sure that you are in the developer environment. And, okay, yes, I'm in developer environment, and let's create a solution. Let's delete the existing one. Or you can keep it. It does not really matter. New solution. And let's call it Power Automate in a day. Publisher is, let's remove this. Let's take the default publisher. And now let's create in this solution an instant flow, new or cloud flow. Automation, cloud flow, instant. Let's name it invoice manually trigger a flow. And since we create a flow from a solution, for now, we have to use the classic designer list row present in a table to connect the flow with the invoice.xlsx document. Hopefully that Microsoft will fix that soon so that we can do everything from scratch in the new designer. So let's grab the invoice.xlsx. Where is it? Here. Okay, and the table is the invoice table. Save and switch to the new designer. By the time you will do this lab, maybe Microsoft will have fixed this, but for the time being, we have to deal with this classic designer. So let's edit again. And now we are in the new designer. Let's rename this action invoice. And we need to add an apply to each. Control apply to each to go through each invoice and to grab the corresponding line items. So invoice, connect to list row present in a table. And now we will connect to the line items, to the corresponding line items. So let's use a list row present in a table that will point to the line item table. Let's grab the invoice file, but this time we will point to invoice lines. Let's rename this action invoice lines. Okay. And what we need to do is to filter the invoice lines table based on the invoice ID. So we can use the filter query to do this. So invoice equal EQ, single quote, twice single quote. Let's zoom in what I've done here. Like this. So two single quotes. And between the quotes, you need to specify the invoice ID. So you can grab the invoice ID from the invoice table. This row present in a table. You can just grab this invoice ID here. From the list row present in a table. But when I do this, a for each is automatically generated, which is a bit annoying. So let's move that above, right, and delete the for each. Okay. And yeah. Let's save a draft. Never know. And what I need to do now is to create an array, so initialize variable, and let's name this variable. So in the apply to each invoice, right? Let's call it var invoice lines. Type is array. Okay, so by default it's empty, even though I can explicitly specify that it's empty. Right, let's name it and I will feed this array with the content of the list row present in a table invoice line. So now I will do an apply to each invoice line. I will go through each invoice line and I will put the invoice line in the array. Let's connect to the list row invoice lines array. Okay, we go to apply to each and then we push the list of line of the corresponding lines in the array. And I can do that by using a variable action, which is append to array variable, like this. So select the variable and let's put some JSON in there. Okay, like this. Let's name the field product, double quote, semicolon, and some room for the field and amount, semicolon, and we'll put the field amount there. So now let's grab the product here from list row present in a table. And for amount, dynamic value from the same action, amount, right? Okay. Now I would like to illustrate something that does not work, that we have done, which is we cannot initialize or create a variable in a scope. And we've done it for var invoice line, so normally it should not work. Okay? You will see that it won't work, so we'll have to move it. So after that, when the array is ready, we can use the word connector, more specifically the populate a Microsoft Word template that we're going to point to the template that we did improve earlier. The file is this one, not the start, but the other one. Okay, and let's name it invoice template. Click show all, and you will see each field that we've defined is now visible here as a dynamic value, as a field in the action. So that's really nice. So we can use dynamic value to point to invoice ID from invoice, to company from invoice, street from invoice, city from invoice, city. Okay. And the line item will be pushed into the line item field down below here. So here, you can just push the array. So you click this button here, and you can just put the array, the variable, and this should work, except that if we save this, workflow will get an error because we did create a variable in the wrong place. You will see that. Okay, so here we populate a template, and now we still need to create a file, right? So if you can create a file by using the create file action in the OneDrive for Business connector. Create file. Of course, you need to create a connection or connection reference. Select OneDrive for Business, and the file name will dynamically be generated. Right. Okay. We're going to create a folder in the OneDrive for Business just for this document. So Power Automate in a day. Okay. Now let's go back to Power Automate. Click root. Normally it should see the new folder. Click, yeah. Okay, Power Automate in a day. The file name, invoice underscore. We put the invoice ID in the name. So we'll grab the invoice ID from this row present in the table. Invoice, okay, invoice ID. .docx, so a Word document will be generated. And later on we'll generate a PDF. And the file content should come from the populate a Word template. So link this action together and the file will be created. Rename the action, create file, invoice in Word, and of course we'll have to generate the PDF file, and we can do that by using the Word connector, and more specifically the one, where is the Word connector? Here, Word. No, not encoding. Yeah, this one, convert Word to PDF. So first we need to specify the location, the document library, OneDrive, and the file. Should go there. No, actually the file should come from the previous action. So dynamically we can point to the location of the file created here, and we have a path property so we have to use the path property from the create file because that's where the Word document is. Okay, so this will create some binary in, I would say, in the server memory. And of course, we can create another file. Let's copy paste, but this time in PDF, right? So we have everything. So this one will be PDF, and the file content will be this one. Actually, no, it will be the one coming from this one, convert Word document to PDF. Okay, this is the PDF binary. Let's publish, and normally you should see an error. Yes, and the error is because we did define a variable within a scope, and the scope is applied to each. It's kind of scope. So variable should be defined at a higher level of the flow. So let's move that above, like this. Okay. No variable definition applied to each, unfortunately. But now it should work. However, we need to make sure that for each invoice, we clean up the array. Okay, so set variable on the array. Okay. And this set variable will clean up the variable. So, okay, so for each invoice, we get a clean array and publish, and this one should work. Now we can test it. This is what our flow looks like. Okay. Let's rename this. Yeah, there's still something that we should do is deleting the Word document, but okay. Test. Two files. Two files should have been generated. Okay, looks fine. Let's check above. Okay, cool. So now in the OneDrive Power Automate in a Day, we see both the PDF and the document, the docx file. Okay, so this worked. That is cool. So what we still need to do is we need to, yes, the second PDF, we still need to delete the existing Word document and just keep the PDF only, and inserting the signature. Okay, that's good. Okay, it looks fine. Right. Signature. And we need to create a signature. Let's create a JPEG file with Paint. Okay, this is I think it's this one, yes. And pixel, let's say 200 on 200. Okay. Let's save it. Let's resume it a bit. Okay, let's save this. As a JPEG. The flow, signature. Yeah. And let's drag and drop the signature to OneDrive for Business. Let's use the OneDrive for Business connector to point to the picture, the signature. So in the OneDrive for Business, we have an action called get something, get file content using path will directly point to the signature. Okay. And we can directly put the signature in the populate Microsoft Word template, the first one, and the signature will come here, get file content using path, and voila. Let's test this, test and publish and test. Step by step. And after that, we will remove the Word document. The generated Word document. Okay, it's running. Let's see if this worked. OneDrive, Power Automate in a day, and first invoice, yes, I have the signature. Now, let's improve our flow to remove the generated Word document. Let's delete the file. So we need to use the OneDrive connector. OneDrive. So let's delete the Word document, the generated Word document. So we need to use the delete file action. Delete file. We need to get the file ID, the one generated by convert Word document or create document. It's not the convert, it's the one just before. Dynamic value, and that's create file Microsoft Word, the ID, this one. That's a unique ID of the document. Okay, let's pick it up. So let's pick up the create file invoice in Word, the ID property. Test, publish and test, and finger crossed, it should work. I'm confident that it will work. Let's go to OneDrive for Business. Automate in a day, and no Word file anymore. So it works. I hope that you enjoyed this exercise and you are ready to move to the next one.